Welcome back, guys, to another Digital Cheesecake podcast with Jack and Ellie. So we're probably 2 months into this. Some of the recordings you haven't seen yet, so they'll be sent across on a weekly basis over the next few
We
weeks or
just need to
so.
figure out what date, when, where, and we're going to cover all the topics that we need to cover.
Exactly, every
Trends,
single topic.
tips, all the things you see on TikTok that you can't stop scrolling past. We're giving
Yeah.
them to you, hopefully.
So we had a really good idea about doing a fortnightly catch up, just talking about things that are going on in digital, things that are going on in
Especially
marketing.
from a recruiter, because everyone's looking for jobs, always, of course. So you have got some amazing insights from that. Plus, you host events, so it will help anyone listening that's probably in the looking for a job
Exactly.
as well as senior level. And hopefully, I can shed as well. Like Jack also is very marketing based, but I can shed some light on what my clients are talking about, what stuff everyone's working on, what are some of the trends that are happening, what are the tools that are really alleviating pressures, and what companies should think about. So hopefully we can cover some of those, but also make sure to hit follow as you're listening, so that we can make sure we can continue to increase the podcast as everyone does and some of the famous podcasters do. Hit follow, and hopefully, if you like it, you can hear more of our content. Cool.
Should we do an
So
intro? Because just in
yeah,
case people are literally coming into this for the
who
first
are
time.
we? Just a quick
So,
one.
do you want to go first? And I'll go
I'll
quick
give us,
round.
because we've only got 10 minutes.
Go on.
Intro is marketing background, agency life, Australian born and bred, from Europe, Malta, and I live in London. And I now run a full service marketing agency called Kinsman Co. I work with Jack as well. I work with consulting sides, businesses, but very much everything from creative all the way to performance, digital, podcasting, everything all the way through. So very marketing based. And yeah, Jack, you.
Me. So I've been running a digital recruitment company for around about 10 years now. Also run a digital leaders community called Digital Leaders Club. But yeah, we work with lots of businesses when it comes to big corporates as well as startups and really cool entrepreneurs. Known Ellie for a couple of years, worked with her as a client, now working with her on the podcast. So yeah, hopefully some of these snippets will be of some good use. But I think what we'll dive into is some of the topics that we've found to be quite popular over the last couple of weeks. Do you want
Yeah,
to
you go
kick off?
first because everyone cares about recruitment first, of course.
Okay, cool.
Come on, you kick off.
So we're in the third week of January. So some of the trends that I've found so far. So there are quite a few. I think one of the big ones is there's been a huge talk about companies going back to the office 5 days, like JP Morgan,
I
Ogilvy.
thought that was such a 2024 thing. What do you mean? Is it now the fact that people are doing 5 days, or
No,
like people just want to get in?
I think in the media, a lot of people are talking using JP Morgan, the likes of Ogilvy, to try and push a trend that it's going to be more 5 days. But actually, 50% of people are actually doing 2 days in the office, and there's only 15% of people that are working 4 days or 5 days in the office. And if
Are you
anything, hybrid's going to increase even further this year.
are you still finding it with the jobs that you're hiring that people are caring about this hybrid? People when they're looking for a job, they really want it with a
Yeah.
hybrid role. Yeah,
I would say so, yeah. So I
yeah.
think, weirdly enough, this year, in the last 3 weeks, all of our roles have been 4 or 5 days a week in the office. And then last year, none
Is
of
it
them.
non-negotiable, by the way?
Yeah,
Like, what if the
non-negotiable. Yeah,
non-negotiable? So I
non-negotiable.
think that's interesting if people are listening to be like, I get people want flexibility and stuff like that as well, but it is a different market where 4 or 5 days. I mean, I don't classify it in my team as 4 or 5 days,
Mm.
but I would want someone, this is really controversial, but I would want someone that wants to come in. Like, I want someone
Yeah.
that already shows interest. Oh my God, you have an office, great. I want to come in. And then probably show me their priorities. Of course, if you've got a dog, I don't want to know about it in the first interview. Sounds really bad, but I need to look after a dog, or I need to, like, that's fine. But the interview probably is how you're adding value to a company, right? It shouldn't just be like, I've also got a job and I've also got this to look after. Of course, mothers, I get that, all of that kind of stuff. But I do think that people have got to be realistic about, like,
Yeah.
that's something that businesses are considering, and
And
you
that
can
goes
be
on to my
flexible
next point.
later.
That goes
Yeah.
on to my next point.
Sorry.
So a lot of people want to get shit done this year, you know? So only 25% of marketing leaders will have an increased budget this year. So um,
25%. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. At least it's not going down,
yeah,
because the previous year it was like halved by 50%, right? So at
it's
least,
a weird year. So this year,
yeah.
there's going to either be stagnant marketing budgets, a slight increase, but that confidence right across the board, whether it's NI increases the budget, like when we saw the budget get introduced in autumn last year, all the marketing and all the trends went down. So all the people's results went down, and then it went
Yeah.
back over Christmas.
Yeah.
So even though there's increased marketing budgets this year, there is that going to be that ongoing thought process that a lot of people are
I
a
think
bit
it's
nervy this year.
Yeah, I mean, I at least think it's like it's nice to have a refreshing year when people are starting with like, okay, we all kind of know that we didn't have faith in the results because of all the changes in the economy. So at least I've seen some people say, we're happy with just being flat or we're going to be down, but we
Yeah.
are still going to invest in X. I think I remember someone saying, or some big corporate recently posting about like, oh, where is it? I'm like, is it confidential? Was it something that I read? Anyway, it was the fact that, people are like, although we've gone down our sales in X area, we still are going to spend money. Oh, Nike, good
What are they
example. I
saying?
think I might have sent it to you. Nike was one where they'd actually had like their sales had gone down year on year. Like people are not investing in all these premium things, but they have launched this new. I did a post about this week about they've launched this House of Innovation. It's a store purely where people can go in and design and customize their own like not shoes, but then also they can get like fittings virtually. It's
Like
like
augmented
it,
reality type thing.
yeah, it's a lot
Yeah.
more of that, but it's like an innovative piece. They know it's going to cost them more. They know the design process is going to cost them more, but they were like, we need to invest in this experience kind of led content because it's although we can't track that and we've seen our prices gone down, we have to put this money into this area. So they were kind of admitting that like it's a massive test, but we have to do something like this, which I think it is a really interesting concept, and they can afford to do it, but not everyone can. But it's like you can
Mm.
see this from a lot of brands doing this innovation piece where you can like go and experience something. It's like you have no idea if you're going to get return from it, but it's like an uplift in brand awareness, which is like totally different.
That's
So
the
it's
trend. That's the trends for this
yeah,
year, this coming year.
yeah.
So even though marketing spends have increased, audio's down, video down, out of market is down. But what's increased is the likes of events, PR. So some
Yeah.
of the things that you mentioned. So people want to tap back into their customers and just feel that closeness with them
Well,
again.
that's the thing, right? AI has made you feel so disconnected. So
Mm.
anything you can do, especially when you get an AI LinkedIn message, when someone like, I mean, you would know, like, oh my
Yeah.
God. And I want to do a post about this on LinkedIn. But some people do such AI scripted ones that you're like,
Mm.
I'm just never going to check it unless someone does something really specific. But like, I even have one that does, people do the recordings. I know I'm going off topic, but people do the recordings of themselves talking to you. Have you got those? Do you watch those? Like, we get a lot of
For the AI
recordings.
recordings, do you know what? I did those for a couple of months, and
Did you? Yeah.
you know me, I was probably doing around about 100 a day.
Oh my God, Jack.
The ROI is really, really minimal. So we kind of cut it after literally, yeah, 2 months. But
It's
saying
good to
that, AI
test.
related, yeah, go on.
No, it's good to test. Keep going.
Yeah, yeah. So like, yeah, but saying that to this year, apparently AI related podcast is on the up.
Yeah, but what does that mean? Oh, people that aren't real. Yeah. I mean, are
Exactly.
we even real?
Who
Don't
knows?
know.
We could be in the Matrix.
I don't think anyone wants to create a version of me again. My husband would die. Um, so sorry. That's those topics there. Is any more on your side that you think people are talking about?
Yeah, I think this year what a lot of people are saying, there's a lot of optimism around. A lot of people are really optimistic for this year. But I think over the next
Yeah.
12 months it's still going to be difficult. People will have to work extremely hard. And I'm in agreement with you. People who are going to interviews, people going in asking for 4 or 5 days or asking to look after the dog, people just want people who can come into the office from time to time, but just
Like it's
literally
hard enough. Yeah.
work hard. But saying that, you were saying before this podcast, you're thinking of there's going to be a trend of people looking for those strategists again from a senior point of view.
Yeah, I think there'll always be people. I think that's always going to be a need, but
Mm.
businesses are still unsure like when they need them. I mean, yeah, it depends on every industry, but I do think they always need the expert advice because a lot of people were let go last year and like there's uncertainty. So I think people still need that like consulting expert advice, but it is hard to get. Like as getting consulting jobs, I feel like you would find that no, that because people are doing all these hybrids. Would you say there's more full-timers than consulting gigs?
I would say so. There's a lot of
Yeah.
people coming out of work looking for part-time like consulting gigs. But the
Yeah.
hard thing is you're going to have to work in business development as well as be a marketeer at
And
the
that's
same time.
exactly the thing people
It's
don't
hard.
realize. That's
It's so
exactly, and
difficult.
that's what I didn't even realize. I mean, yeah, I did, but it is so business developed sales. Like if you're starting a
Mm.
business or agency or anything or consulting, you purely have to be sales led. So you need to be looking at your LinkedIn strategy. You need to be like getting out there having coffee. So I don't think it's as easy as, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, as just applying to a job. online. You kind of
Yeah.
have to build your networks and then create that consulting gig, pretty
Yeah.
much. Of
Yeah. It's
course,
all about
like,
network. Old
yeah, it's
bosses,
crazy.
old people you've worked with, doing loads of intros. I mean, if you're going into it and having no black book, there's no point in actually trying to do it because it's going
Yeah.
to be so difficult for you because there's
And
loads
I
of people who are way ahead.
And that's what I know we need to make this 10 minutes, but I'm like, I'll try my very best. But I know that's what James in our previous podcast was saying. Like, if you're wanting to build into these roles, you need to have a spreadsheet, you need to be going through it, you need to have the names of the
Mm.
people, you need to go like, and I think people need to like be aware that a connection is actually really valuable. If someone replies to you, that's actually like you should be like happy about it. I think it's a lot harder than people assume to get someone to be like, cool, I'll go meet you for coffee. That connection can actually be like that can be you ticking off something great for the week. So I think
Yeah.
like wins in those spaces are pretty good, like thinking about it. But anyway, trends, other stuff. Can
Yeah.
I maybe just talk
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah. Let's dive
I
straight in.
mean, I can dive straight in. I don't need to go into too big detail, but LinkedIn, like I think just generally LinkedIn, like we're always on it. We always talk about it, but I talk to a lot of my clients about it. They're like, oh, I haven't really posted on LinkedIn. Should I this week? I'm like, LinkedIn
Mm.
is number one for this year. I think it's like number one. And people have already built their followings in the last few years. So some people are already like influencers on LinkedIn. So I
Yeah.
think that is like thinking if you're a B2B company, thinking about your LinkedIn strategy is crucial because like not a LinkedIn strategy about posting content. It is like actually a LinkedIn strategy of what like other brands you're going to work with, like spokespeople. Like you, Jack, have 15,000 followers. Most like I know some people that get paid for their followers on LinkedIn. They're an influencer, and then they
Really?
talk about like I know someone specifically that's got like 20,000. She'll just, she mentions this is a sponsored post, but she will say these are the tools that I use this week. Blah. So B2B companies shouldn't be thinking about like just posting and boosting content on LinkedIn. It should be who are the people and the influencers that you can actually write content with and post with. Like for me, I'm working with you and I'm already getting your reach. So like that's a partnership. It's like an influencer
Yeah.
partnership. People need to be thinking about it like that, I would say, versus just like, let's boost some content on LinkedIn, etc. Like it is the algorithm is actually pretty good that it will be one very video content heavy and people need to do it's all about consistency. Like you're great at it. You schedule all your content. Not for everyone listening, sorry, it doesn't schedule it always. But
Don't tell them.
I mean,
Don't tell
it's
them.
you'd be smart to schedule it because who's up
Yeah.
at 5 a.m.? Jack is
But you
probably
know
up at
what? I've
5
only
a.m.
just realised you could schedule it literally a couple of months ago. So I was literally going in every single month, every single
I
day.
mean, the thing is, some of
Yeah.
the content I write is on that day, though,
Yeah.
like if it's new. So I get your point, but yeah. So, and then also consistency, posting at the same times early in the week. Like that is, I would say, just think about at least getting into a rhythm of it. Don't be afraid to post on
Yeah.
LinkedIn. The more personal the story, the better, unfortunately. But there is always a fine line between, and this is what I wanted to know what you think, Jack, is, I've posted about some of my like mental health stuff historically on there.
Mm.
And then my whole family's been like, sorry,
I've not
family
seen
ratting
it.
you out. Yeah, you
Can
wouldn't
you?
have. I don't know. I'll share it with you. It's like a car accident thing ages ago. And I posted it. My family's like, do you think a company would
What
want
a
to
car
see that if
accident?
they're
A
hiring
car
you?
accident. Sorry
That
to
happened to
interrupt.
me.
What in Oz or the
In
UK?
I've had two in my life. I don't know why they keep coming to me, or three, who knows? But one in Australia, and I like posted the
Mm.
images of it because it was on the TV and all that kind of stuff. And I posted like
Well,
it
I
was
didn't even
more
know
about
it.
my anxiety and all this stuff that yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We can deep dive on that one. And my whole family was like, why? What if someone senior is approaching you? Let's say you're going for a role in future or you were
Mm.
going to be consulted. Isn't that a negative deterrent that you've had an accident and you're talking about it on LinkedIn? Like it's a
It's.
very,
I think that's. I think a lot of people are good people and want to do good and are good people. So if they hear stories like that, I don't think they're going to see that from a negative point of view. If anything, it shows that you're a survivor and resilient more than anything. So, for the people, um, there is a fine line to actually overgilding the lily or actually helping people.
yeah.
Because I think when it comes to mental health, it's an individual thing as well, isn't it? As well as a collective thing, and it's totally dependent on what you've experienced.
Having the
Um,
balance right a bit, isn't it? It's like I've done a bit of that and then I'll do all my leadership stuff and all the other stuff. So, okay, that's good. Maybe for people listening, I think that's helpful because some people be really shied away from even posting a photo. But my best performing stuff always is the content with me in my mum in it.
But your
or
mum
just
looks pretty
like,
cool. You
I
guys
mean,
look
she
like
does look
two peas in
cool.
a pod. Like you have like a
Yeah,
similar dress.
honestly, we weren't always that close. Oh, unfortunately, my mum, if she hears this, she's going to kill me. But we weren't always. And then as you get older, but yeah, now we do.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, she wears fluoro pink, and I'm like, that's my vibe. Anyway, I know we've got a few more minutes. So the other ones I wanted to talk about were podcasting, setting up a podcast on your own, because everyone wants to do it this year, and it's very hard for budgets. So that's just one is how do you set it up? Can you do it? I was talking to a client today. Definitely it's possible, but the biggest problem is don't let it suck up your life. It needs to be, which is what I say to Jack, like it cannot be all the time. We always just are talking anyway, so it's not like it's sucking up my life, but it needs to be really efficient. You record once a month or twice a month and you book out a studio, you go to the same studio, and then you have content creators. The biggest cost would be content creation out of all of it. The studio cost, I mean, like it's not as bad as the content creation cost. And then having an Instagram profile and scaling it. So the most expensive part, it depends if you're having actors and all that kind of jazz, is just the creating content videos out of it. So I would say that's the biggest trend that's happening at the moment. The tools that you can use are things like if you don't have budget for content, you could use. I feel like I've lost you, Jack. Are you listening to me or reading something else?
No, I'm listening. No, I'm listening.
I know when people move their eyes and they're reading an email, this is a problem with us. Anyway, uh, yeah, my point was use Opus or Choppity. I know
Yeah,
the
yeah.
guys from
You're talking about
Choppity.
Choppity. So
Yeah, I know the
you
guys.
saw the guys recently from Choppity. So what are
Yeah,
they?
they're on Dragon's Den. I mean, they're awesome too. We've used both platforms. I'm getting into Choppity at the moment. We are putting in the show notes some links so people can get discounts for it as well. So you can see Opus and Choppity. I've used both. I'm liking Choppity at the moment because I can actually customize the fonts to the exact fonts we usually use, Jack, which are like really custom.
Hmm.
You can upload your own fonts in there. And I just uploaded a whole long format and then it just cut pieces into it. So TBC, I'll see how I go. But those are two ones that people should think about. Of course, we also create content for people, not like showing that that's a big thing, but it depends on the budget you have. Not everyone has a lot of money in podcasting. But I would say you don't need a huge amount. Like you need to think about at least two to 5 grand to start getting it going per season, I would
It's just
say.
consistency, though, isn't it? It's just consistency. The hardest thing
Yeah.
is consistency to try and because we're
Yeah.
doing it once a month, aren't we? And we're doing like 4 recordings at a time. But it's such a we're talking about it literally every day, so there's such a big time
Because
investment
I
outside of
think we'd
it.
like it too, though. Like it's kind of
Yeah,
nice. But I think, which I think people don't like discover, is that like podcasting comes like quite a lot of like reward and like like you kind of actually enjoy it because you're getting more value out of it than you expected and you're meeting new people. So I think there's also like that part of it. The only last one I would end on is the TikTok and the whole jazz and Red Note, and that just makes me laugh. Um, I mean,
well,
everyone's
that's
just been
amazing. The
freaking
last couple of
out.
weeks, that's
I
been
know,
amazing.
but like it sucked up our entire lives for everything to go back to the way it was. It's just hilarious. Like Trump is like, no worries, peace, I'm here. Let's bring back TikTok. So it's now back. And everyone moved to Red Note, and that made me laugh so much. Red Note was just another variation of it, but it was in Mandarin. So everyone signed up and it was in Mandarin, the app. So Duolingo had their biggest like sale days because everyone was trying to learn Mandarin.
So have you signed up to it and given all your data away to the
I feel like you
Chinese?
should have laughed at that. That was such a funny point that people are. Duolingo had an increase in subscriptions to Mandarin because people just wanted to use the app. I mean, what? That is just insane.
But can't you see the translation part of it? Can't you
No,
translate?
I don't think you can. A lot of the pieces of content are created in Mandarin, so everyone's like. Anyway, what did you say? Did I sign up to it? Red Note?
Yeah, did you sign up to it?
No way. I was like, sorry, I should in digital marketing, but I was like, we'll just leave it for now. We'll let the wave continue on, and then we'll just enjoy the memes, and then it's obviously come back full circle.
But
And then
a
there's
lot of people have
threads
bought
and
into TikTok that much that they're quite happy just to go to
oh no,
something
for
which is
people
not
that are
more.
making money, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
their job on TikTok, which is like people getting millions from it. Yeah, go to another platform, test it out. I mean, your whole life depends on it.
People just love giving their data away, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much funny stuff like that. And oh, actually, I really want just to, we can chat at the end, is we need to decide what we're going to title this. So if people could write a poll in this episode of
That'd be
what they
amazing.
would like this title to be. So we had a few ideas, right? Because it was meant to be 10 minutes. Now, if you don't want it to be 10 minutes, please let us know in the comments because or as long as it is, because I think we're at like 20 minutes or something. Whoops. But some of the ideas we were trying to tie in with cheese, which is a bit lame, we think.
And one of them was called the
But
Grater. Was it called the Grater?
oh, I mean, the cheddar chat,
The
the
weekly
graded
Grater.
insights, the cheese board. I don't hate
The
that.
cheese ball's pretty good.
Slice it up. The brief. Oh, just it's just awful. Some of this stuff. Crackers
Nacho
and
cheese.
trends. Nacho cheese. The sweet spot. The 10-minute fix. It was a really. I mean, I couldn't stop laughing before. the trend
Mascarpone.
ticker, mascarpone, the
Mascarpone.
meltdown min mascarpone, the trend rater. Oh, it's just so lame, isn't it? The
Yeah.
wheel of trends, the trend fondue. Anyway, if people like any of those, or just basic names like hot takes, quick breaks, not against that. The trend brief, rapid real talk. It's just all, I mean, obviously I'm reading this from ChatGPT. Where else do you think it's coming from? So if you could let us know, that would be great. We're just going to give you a 10-minute summary and yeah, hit follow so we can make sure we bring out more content. Our ultimate goal is what, Jack? We want to bring on awesome guests, as Stephen Bartlett always says. The bigger the thing, the bigger the guest. He always says.
You are the biggest Steve Bartlett
I
fan.
mean, I am
Yeah.
because he did a great job. And yeah, I don't know. I am obviously. I mean, I'm not a big, I mean, I don't want to say anything about him. I'm just impressed with his marketing strategy. The rest of the other stuff, who knows? Um, so yeah, I think that would be great. Obviously, if you want us to keep doing it, hit follow.
Yeah.
Anything else from you, Jack?
No, that's it, I think. I think we've gone yeah, 20 minutes, so like double over the time. So yeah, as Ellie said, if you want it 10 minutes, just let us know. And any names for the podcast, give us a shout or give us a comment.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Bye.
See you later.
I do stop.